to continue on. And talk about a few more life experiences that I've remembered. I wanted to talk about my time with the fire service. Literally, as a junior, now first off, I'll get to the crazy experience part. But yeah, my time as a cadet, mate. Your role as a cadet is basically, well, for starters, it's a youth initiative that's run and funded by the council. So it's directly through the fire service, and it's a branded thing and a branch of the fire service. So it's not just like a club. So you do everything a normal firefighter would do. The only thing you don't do is respond to active calls. The only active calls that we got to respond to were AFAs and a road traffic collision. Now AFAs was a standard thing. I got to respond to quite a few of those, which is an automatic fire alarm, which means a fire alarm in a building or a smoke alarm has just gone off, or a sensor has just gone off. Like there's been no call, it's just automatically gone off, and it goes to the fire station and then they come and see what's going on. And then there was a car accident, again that was just by chance because we was out, again something I'll get to, we was out on the track and then we got called while we was out on the road, so I went along with them. And so your primary roles is mainly like community relations, so making the fire service look good basically, and like doing like lots of promotional stuff. So you have like open days where like kids can come like with their school or their family and like go on the fire engines and like turn on the sirens and like drive around the block and shit like that, and would like do hose running and like demonstrations and displays and like set things on fire and put them out and like shit like that. So there was that side of it, and then there was like home visits, which again I didn't get to do many. Like there was occasions where again as a treat like we would get to go out, and that was like a live call where you do like a home visit, so you'd like install smoke alarm or like give out a leaflet or give like a fire safety check. So like they'll come, like you'd go and you'd inspect the property and like you'd see like everything that's like a hazard basically, and then you'd mark it down and then you give like an evaluation of how to like fireproof the home basically. But there's like ones for different things, like there's like projects for the elderly, projects for kids, for families, everything. So yeah, there's that. And then and buildings as well, like commercial buildings. Oh, also testing fire extinguishers as well is another job of the fire service, which we didn't again get to partake in, but on the odd treat, because it wasn't like a live like fire, you may get to have a chance to get a ride along, which I did. So yeah, but ultimately it's just like we have our own set nights where we meet and we do drill and we learn. Like they taught us about like tying like rope and like tying up line, and yeah, we had like pocket line and like how to like hose run and like connect up like fire hydrants and the pumps, and how to safely operate a fire hydrant as well, like using like a key, like you have a special key and then you put it in the ground and then you put the pole in and you twist it, and like how to test the water flow and like loads of little things. Well, they're big things, but like there were sick things. Now, in terms of like crazy experiences, like the best thing, like literally the best thing is like, I don't know, just like how you're treated, like, because like with like doing policing and with security, like you can't bowl into a place like and like get food like and expect to get food like. You can expect to get poisoned food because that's how things are nowadays. People don't like you, like literally, they do not like you. Like doing policing, like it's kind of changed because like nowadays, like police officers can't do anything. It's so dangerous to be a policeman because like they can't take sweets from people. Like I mean, it's not good to take sweets from strangers, but they can't take like gifts and like sweets and like chocolates and cakes and like if someone buys them stuff like coffees and shit, like they can't have it because nowadays people will try and kill them, like literally. Because they're such cunts. No. But like literally, it's dangerous. But like, yeah, and even the security now doing my civilian job, like again, like like certain places you can go, but like you can't really just walk in somewhere and like get food and like get things because like people don't necessarily like you. But firefighters, mate, like you bowl in your fire gear, oh my Jesus, like literally, like it's like you're a god, mate. It's the most sickest thing I've ever experienced in my life, like literally, like you get treated so well, like everyone's just nice to you, like literally everyone's just nice to you, and like you can't, like at certain places like Pizza Hut, Domino's, places like that, like companies, like established companies that have like a deal with like emergency services, so they'll certain places will give discounts for emergency services and armed forces, so there's that side of it as well. But the fire service, like especially, like everyone's just so chill to you, like literally everyone's just so chill to you, like it's just, oh mate, and rolling around on the truck, mate, in the fire truck, mate, I literally with all the boys, like literally, oh mate, it's just sick, like literally, it's so sick, like I'm telling you, like literally. We went from Burgess Hill to Shoreham, which is like quite a distance, like it's long enough, and we had a brand new Scania truck, mate, like literally, and like they had the Dennis trucks for fire trucks, and they brought over the Scania, and they had what's the other one they've got? The main one that we use around here is Scania, but there is another brand that they've got out. Mercedes? Do they use Mercedes? I'm not sure. But either way, mate, we had a long old drive from our station, which was in Burgess Hill, to fucking Shoreham Fire Station, which was in Shoreham, which is, well, they're different counties. Like, there's East Sussex and then there's West Sussex. So we had to travel down from the top to the bottom. Anyway, the point is, we had a brand fucking new fire truck. When I say brand new, mate, this thing had only done 20 miles on the clock, mate. It had been fresh out of the factory, like, and we got to ride in it, mate. Ah. Like, literally, mate. It was sick. Like, literally, it was so sick. But that was, like, literally, I won't forget that. That was sick. But as I said, when you go in the shop, mate, like, everyone's just chilled with you. Staff are chilled with you, the police are chilled with you, security's chilled with you, the customers are chilled with you. Like everyone's just fucking chilled with you, mate. Like literally, everyone's just chilled with you. Like firefighters get no shit. Like literally, like no shit. And if they do get shit, it's not deserved. Like literally, it's not deserved. Like it's just like you're a firefighter. Like what are you gonna be doing that's bad? Like you're a firefighter. You rescue people day in, day out. That is it. Like what more, like, and even like not active firefighters, you're still going out in the community and you're still fucking doing shit. Like you're still fucking educating. Like you're going to schools, give safety talks and things like that. Like literally, so you're still doing stuff. Like you're always doing stuff. Like everyone loves you. Like everyone loves when you pull up in the fire truck, mate. Especially if you're doing a school visit and you pull up in the fire truck. And like all the kids are well excited, like they're all jumping up and down, they're like buzzing, literally. It's sick, mate. But in terms of, again, crazy experience, wow. Basically, there's something called the ALP, or the ALP, or the TRU, which is a technical rescue unit. And they operate with the aerial ladder platform, which is like a aerial ladder with a platform. Like the massive crane thing that they stand on with a little box at the end of it. And there was a demonstration there, and we had to do a demo anyway. We had a drill. We had hose running. So it's like a fire, but it wasn't actually a fire. It was a we was working from the practice tower. It was only a small square. It's only a small drill yard, and obviously you got all the stands and that everywhere, and all the engines around. But anyway, we had this thing, this drill to come. But I was like nervous as it was. Like I was nervous to do the drill because like it's in front of everyone. Like you're like representing the fire service. Like you got to do your hose running. You pull up, put the pump in, like do everything all yourself. There's no help. Like you have instructors who are firefighters, like all the time, and like they run crews of their own. But you get taught what to do, and then you have your own structure within your junior ranks. Like you have your own commanders, if you will. But yeah, so I was nervous about that. But before that, there was a chance to go up on this aerial ladder platform, and no one else was allowed to go up on it. And it was just for us. Like it was just a treat for us. And I was like, no, and they was like, you're never going to get to do this again. Like, you're not going to get to do this again. And if you do this again, it's going to be under bad circumstances. Literally. And yeah, so it was like, oh, no. Anyway, eventually I done it because, yeah, I'm not a fan of heights, mate. I'm really not a fan of heights. But I went up on this thing, mate, and I could see, like, oh, mate, for miles and miles and miles. The view was absolutely incredible. But I was shitting a brick, mate. Like, literally, I was shitting a brick. Like, halfway up, I was like, this isn't right. Like, literally, this isn't right. And he was just like, yeah, it's fine, it's chilled, come on. Like, literally, he was not having none of it. Like, literally, he was not having none of it. Like, it was a confidence thing as well. Like, it was a confidence thing. Because remember, we are all juniors, so they're teaching us as well as, like, we're experiencing stuff and doing stuff for the public. Like, we're actually serving, but they're teaching us as well. So, for me, it was like a confidence thing. So, they wanted me to do it. Like, literally. But, yeah, it was chilled. Like, it was so sick. Like, literally, it was so sick. I was up there for ages. Like, literally, I was up there for so long. And then, come back down, done a drill. I literally drill. In the fire service, everything is about drill. Yeah, you're waiting around for people to call for fires, but yeah, it's all about practicing and drill. Like literally, everything is drill. And even if you're not drilling, you're resting or getting fitness in or whatever. Like literally, or eating. Like literally, you're always doing something. But yeah, drill is like, I mean, it could be a bad thing or it could be a good thing. Because, like, think of it this way. Like, when we got to do drill, when I say drill, I mean, like, a scenario, like a practice session. So it might be a house fire, it might be electrical fire, it might be cutting up a car, whatever it may be. There'll be different scenarios for each session. So, you could get a drill which is like a water drill, which is It's like chilled because you get to do hose running, and then you get to do maybe a bit of ladder work. That may be a treat though. And then what else have you got? Yeah, just hose running basically. So you just run out the hose, fires in front, and then that's it. Like you get your scenario, and then you just work it out as how you would, and then they mark you on it, and then your times, your neatness, all that sort of stuff, safety. But yeah, or you could get a dry drill, like dry, completely dry. So you get to run the hose, but no water. Like literally, you don't understand how disappointing that is. That's the worst thing you could ever get to do is hose running. Like literally, just hose running, plain hose running. So you just run the hose out, and that's it. There's no water, no nothing. Like literally, just that's it. And sometimes you may even have to stand there. Like literally, you may even have to stand there for the length of time that you would to put out the fire. Like literally, as a punishment. Like if you haven't done something right, or if your kit's messy, or like if you've acted up, or you're just prattling about, like, then yeah, it's a punishment. Like literally, you just do a dry drill, like no water, and it's just so disappointing, mate. Like you just run out all the hoses, and then it's just like, oh, you just gotta pack it up. There's no water, no nothing. It's just dry, literally. Literally, and sometimes you don't even get to like connect it up. You just get the hoses off, you just run them out, and then you roll them back up. You run them out, roll them back up. Like literally, and you do that with every single hose on the truck. Also, that's an inspection thing as well, to see if there's any cracks or tears or frays in the line, mate. Because if you've got tears in your line, mate, in your hose line, then yeah, you're done. Like literally, that's a bad thing. Like you don't want that. Especially if you're out on an actual call. If you're in a call in a residential area and you've got a busted line that starts spurting water all over the place. Like literally, that's not good. Like literally. But ladder drills as well. Ladder drills were chilled. Always a test for me. But yeah. And we had a box house as well. Like a cardboard house that we set on fire. That was made of like plywood and shit. And there was like different rooms. And then they filled it with smoke. And then like with a smoke machine, but we still had BA on, and then we had to go in and get a person out. I say person, it's just a dummy filled with sand, but it's the equivalent weight of a person, and it's in an overall, so it's the shape of like the same shape as a person. They put like 2 people and a baby in there and a small child, and then you got to find like all the people that are in there, but they're in like different spots. Like they may even be like in weird places, like literally they may be in like weird place like under the bed or like under like a chair or something. But bearing in mind it's filled with smoke, so you can't see anything. And like if you use a torch, it just bounces back. So you end up just like doing what's called like a BA shuffle. So you put one hand in front of you and you go down like this, and then you put your other foot out and you sweep the floor. And yeah, and that's just making sure that if you was above on like a level, like the floor is not going to cave in on you, and then you could just test the floor beforehand. Also to see if anyone's lying there, because bearing in mind people would have dropped to the floor by now because there's so much smoke. But yeah, once you get the people or not get the people, they set it on fire, and then you then have to deal with the fire. Well, obviously you come out as you would in a real situation. You get the people first, and then you come out, and then you then tackle the blaze. But it's all safe. It's in controlled conditions. Like there's dedicated training facilities where you can just set the houses on fire and then put them out again. Like it's all trained, it's all controlled. And then there's like cameras as well to like show you like timing of fire. That's the most scariest thing, like the timing of fire, like watching fire just burn and how quickly like houses can just set fire, like a room can just catch fire and just be up in smoke in minutes. Like within 3 minutes, like the whole room is gone, the floors are gone, like everything. And then it's then tackling the blaze after that. But my time in the fire service, mate, was sick. Literally. So sick. But like I say, the best thing is travelling by fire engine, mate. I can't think of any better way to travel. Like, yeah, you could say like Lamborghini or some shit, but like, if I had a choice between like, I don't know, limousine, Lamborghini, private jet, fucking, even like a military jet, fucking military convoy, anything, any way of transport, like Range Rover, Jaguar, whatever car you can think of, I'd pick a fire engine, mate. Like, literally, it's the sickest way to travel, mate. Just bowling up in a fire engine, in your fire gear, mate. Like, literally, just jumping off the truck. Like, literally, it's just sick. Like, literally, it's just so sick. Just like a beast, like literally. But you can't get complacent, mate. You can't get complacent, because fire will fuck you up, mate. But after a while, you just begin to know certain things. Like, you just know certain things. But like I say, we don't do live calls. Like, we wouldn't answer a 999 call. But yeah, it was still chilled. But open days were chilled. Open days were like the best days. Because for us, that was a 999 call. That was our time to like shine and just show off, basically. And just look good. I literally just whack it out. And also it's good recruitment as well for people to join the fire service. Or be a cadet. But like, people would join the fire service at open days. Like, there's recruitment. And yeah. Kind of go on, but yeah. Those were chill times, mate. Like, literally chill times. Like, so chill times. Like, just... and the fire station as well, like, literally. Oh, J2O as well. I like J2O. And the snacks. Put that as a food and drink section. Subsection. Cold drinks. Also, one more thing. What was sick about the fire service? Like, it was like, because obviously I've always done public services. Like, I've always been into public services. Like, just always loved public services. And like, with like St John's, which is like the ambulance service, but it's like I mean, there are paid technicians, paramedic technicians, and there's voluntary technicians. In certain countries like Australia, St John's is like the actual NHS, like that's the ambulance service. Over here it's just like a subsection for events. But I done that, and I done the police work as well. And they all have like control centres, they all have like dispatch and things like that. But like with the fire service, like we went to the control centre and it's just like, oh my god, like literally. Oh mate, like literally everyone, it's just sick, like just the whole thing is just sick. Like you just go to work, yeah, and you just come back and it's just like, that was sick. Like I've spent my time well. Like you just spend your time well. Like you're just doing good shit like all the time. Like all the time. Like with policing, like yeah, like you're doing policing, like it's a necessary thing, but it's just like you're just pissing people off. Like it's a lot of beef. Like it's a lot of stress. Like it's chill times. Like there's good times and like good experiences, but like when the police come, it's to defuse something or to make an arrest or like. Yeah, it's something bad has happened, but with the fire service, like, yeah, something bad has happened, but like, the only good things can happen once you get there. Like it can only get better from there because that's why you're there, to make it better. Like, and it's just chilled. Like, even if bad things happen, like, you're there to make it better than what it was. Like, if you just didn't come and there's just nothing, like, if there was just no fire service, like, everyone can think about no police, like. But if you think about no fire service, like everyone would just be like, nah, everyone loves the fire service. Like, how could you not? Like, if you don't like the fire service, then you're a fucking idiot. Like, you're a knob. You're not a good person. Like, literally. But yeah, the control centre, mate, it was amazing. Like, just dispatching fire engines, mate. I literally just eavesdropping on calls, mate. Like, obviously it was allowed. Like, it was a tour. So yeah. You could like listen into the calls and like, oh mate, it was just amazing. Like it was just dispatching, like people call in and like just ping 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 ping, and then fire engines coming out and then like they go into like stations and like and then seeing the calls come in and like being at open days as well when calls come in and then like packing up all the gear, like literally. Oh mate, like literally. And it's just like you'll be chatting to people, and then you just gotta pack up all the gear, mate, like literally, and then clear all the station, like literally, because everything's all over the place. So you gotta clear the station like, as quickly as you can, and like obviously it's a calm thing, but like it's gotta be done quickly, like. So it's just like the buzz. It's just like, and everyone's just watching, but obviously you know what you've got to do. Like literally the call to action, mate. Like literally just that call to action, mate. Like literally, I like it. I go on about like caring too much and blah blah blah, but this is the positive side to it. Like literally, the call to action, mate, and like the experiences. Like literally, I do like recalling these sort of things because it gives me drive. Like literally, it makes me remember why I started. Like literally. Yes, mate. I literally. was pretty mad. Literally mad job. Literally mad job. Literally, it's so mad. It's kind of hard to put into words sometimes. But literally. It's all good, mate. Another thing I want to talk about is test purchasing. This is a side which is like necessary but sneaky. Like literally, this is what I mean. This is the public services which is like, oh, it's for your own good. Like certain things you can say you do. Like for example, like with St. John's as well. From crazy experiences like medical emergencies, and it's just they're always crazy. Like they're always crazy. Like they're just always crazy. Like cardiac arrest is like the most craziest thing. Like because basically you just your heart's just stopped. Like you just had heart failure basically, and you can come back from it, but like it's very difficult to come back from it. Like you can't just like if you have a heart attack or your heart stops, then like it's not like the films where like that's another thing I learnt. Like it's not like the movies at all. Like you can't just give someone CPR and shock them and then they're back to life and they start coughing and breathing and like they start running off and like everyone's happy. Like no. Like it's deep. Like it's deep. It's fucking life or death. Like it's just time stops. Well, it feels like time stops. Like literally. Like literally, that's the most craziest thing. I think the most craziest experience, like literally, I've had to like have a few stories and like go through a few things to remember things, because some things I don't forget, but like I have to remember certain things. But like seeing people at their end, like literally, that's the most weirdest thing. Or like when you meet someone at a medical emergency and it's quite deep, like they would have woken up not knowing they're gonna meet me, and I start a shift knowing that I'm meeting someone on the bad day basically. Like if you meet me, it's a bad day. Like, well, obviously you don't think about it like that because that's my job. Like you just go out to help people, so you're enjoying it. But like yeah, medical emergencies and like going out and then yeah, having to deal with stuff and like blood and gore as well. Like just under the pressure, I'd say that's quite crazy. But it's just not a standard thing. And like I say, the call to action, like when you get to a scene and like everyone's looking to you, especially as like with the fire service and the ambulance service, like again it's that I don't know, like, even the ambulance service probably, in fact, they get a lot of abuse. I've worked many shifts at a hospital as security, and people just fucking, oh, mate, absolutely disgraceful to nurses, mate. Like, literally, they just come in and their attitude, mate, is just absolutely poor, like, literally. People have been banned from hospitals, like, literally. Like, it's that bad, like, you'll be banned, and you just have to go somewhere else, like, literally. They can do that, like, literally, they can actually do that, because it's just, oh. Anyway, but, like, on the whole, like, the ambulance service, like, you're coming to do good, so there's no reason for anyone to hate you or not want you to be there. And again, the fire service, again, you're coming to do good, so there's not any reason for you to be turned away. The police, like, you know, like, every day is something different. Every day is going to bring something new. It's going to be lively, like, you know, because that's the nature of the job, like, and you know that not everyone is going to want to see you, like, you just know that as a fact. Like, obviously you go out with a positive attitude, but you know that, like, with that, not everyone's going to see you. But when you start your day off in the medical services, and, like, in the ambulance service, like, when I was doing St. John's, like, you start your shift, and, like, you go out, and, like, obviously you're happy to be there, because, like, you're going to do good, but then the people that you meet, like I say, like, it's just like, wow, like, shit, like. So when you have a quiet day, it's kind of nice, but then it's like, who have I missed? So it's kind of anxious as well. But then, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing to explain, but crazy experiences, like, yeah, just seeing people in dark times, like, literally, and just like, yeah, just like injuries and shit, and it's not too bad. But it's just like, when it's something that's like life-changing, or it's something they're going to have to seriously recover from, and it's like, wow. But yeah, as I say, cardiac arrest, again, it's just like, yeah. But, yeah. I did win an award, actually, for sealing off a scene, and, like, dealing with, like, a incident. It was a collapse. And it was a heart attack, but then obviously because I knew first aid and shit, and yeah, and it was at a race, and they just like collapsed, and obviously I called it in, and then rendered first aid, and like kept everyone back, shit like that, kept the patient stable. CPR. But yeah, I did win an award for that. I'm not being braggy, but like, yeah. But it's kind of weird, because like, when things go deep, you win awards, and it's like, so like, as an emergency services worker, or someone that works in public services, or even in the armed forces, like, yeah, it's nice to win awards, but when you do, it's not normally for good things. Like, yeah, it's something you've done good, but like, it's not something good that happened. Like, it's not out of a good situation. So like, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, not that I was ever called a hero, but like, people, you're like the man of the hour, but then like, you kind of don't feel like it, because it's like, well, not really, because under the circumstances, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. But he was transported to hospital and shit. But it was just well peak, because his daughter was there, and like his family, and like, yeah, it was just well peak. And obviously I'm just there, and like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, but like, yeah, I need paramedics. Like, I'm first aid trained to a level, but I'm not a doctor, so I can't just go around, you know, playing surgeon. Like, it's not like that. Like, you gotta be careful. But yeah, I'm trained, so yeah, you can get involved and you can deal with things, because I was on the job as well. But yeah, you gotta be careful, as I say. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a paramedic. I'm not a technician. So it's like, they're like looking at you like, why aren't you doing anything? And it's like, well, I can only do so much, like perform CPR, because I knew I could do that because he wasn't breathing. And like, that's it, you just do CPR, but like, they expect the person to just suddenly come alive, and it's not like that. So they're like crying, and you're just like, fuck. Everyone else is watching, like there's thousands of people because you're at a sporting event. It's not a quiet thing. And then you've got to try and keep everybody back. Everyone wants to get involved, and it's like, ugh. But yeah, it didn't take long. It was only like maybe 3 minutes for first responders to come. But I was on my own. Because bearing in mind, like, I was just walking the crowd, because that's what you do, and then that happened in front of me. Well, that's why you do it, but yeah. So it didn't take long for first responders to come, like, they responded. But like, that 3 minutes feels like forever, because obviously everyone's wanting to know what's going on, and yeah. But they are good times. Like, literally. Believe it or not. It's kind of weird to say, though. But yeah, as I was saying, going on to the policing side of things, it's like, in fact, I'm going to get some water. I used to do a lot of licensing, like a lot of licensing, and like test purchasing, which is necessary, but then, yeah, it's kind of sneaky. Like I say, not everyone wants you to be there. And we'd like go into a shop, and you get a report, like you get an intelligence report, which basically means someone snitched on them, or they've been under surveillance. But normally someone's called it in and said, look, they're fucking dodgy. But yeah, you get an intelligence report, and then the police officers would obviously have a meeting, and then they'll fix up what they're going to do, like how they're going to deal with it. And then you'd come in as the stooge, the plant, and then you'd come, and then they'll tell you what's going on, like what's going to happen. So then you go in and buy whatever it is that you need to buy, or what's under investigation. So maybe like if they're doing underage selling of alcohol, or if they're doing like cigarettes or fireworks, or I don't know, anything, like literally anything at all, anything that they're selling that they shouldn't be selling, or they're selling it to someone that's underage, then I'd just buy it, basically, and see what happens. So I'd go in the shop. So the first one, let's say alcohol, I'd pick up some beer, like any beer, like literally I'd just pick up some beer. And then I'd go to the shop, go to the counter, and then put it on the counter, and then that's it. Like, you're not allowed to say anything. Like, you're not allowed to haggle. You're not allowed to be like, oh boss, you're right. You're not allowed to say hello, what are you saying? You're not allowed to do any of that. Like, you just gotta pick up the stuff what you want, and then you place it on the counter. Now, from there, they can either just ring it through, or they can ask you for ID. They're supposed to ask you for ID. Like, literally, they're supposed to ask you for ID. So, like, I picked it up, and he was like, I put it on the counter. He was like, have you got any ID? I was like, no, sorry. And then he like rung it through, and then he was like, that'll be £5. And then like literally he rung it through and then paid. Like, took out pressed the amount into the cash register, and then I took out the money. And then just as I took out the money, I placed it on the counter, and then I stepped to one side, and then the police officer behind me comes in, and he's like, oh mate, this is a licensing operation, you're nicked. No, literally, they don't say you're nicked, they just say this is a licensing operation, I'm going to caution you, and then they read them the caution, and then yeah, they're busted basically. But the basically the moral of the story is like you're always supposed to ask for ID, and even if you ring it through before you've asked for ID, then you've sold it because you've rung it through and it's registered as a sold product, and the person that you're selling it to is underage. So on a technicality, they can do you for it. But ultimately, he didn't ask me for any form of ID. Like, he looked at me, he had suspicions, he asked me, I said no, and then that's it. But like, if you say no, and then they say, I'm not going to serve you, which does happen, I'll go into that in a bit, then obviously, then there's protocol for that. But, yeah, with this situation, like, he didn't ask me for ID, so then, yeah, he was fucked. So, with that, like, the police officer steps in, he then obviously radios through to the other police officers that are in the van, the sergeant comes in, and then they all obviously come in uniform, and then they close the shop. And that's that, basically. I just walk out, like, literally I just walk out and go back in the van. Like, they don't even get to speak to me. Like, you're not allowed to speak to them, you're not allowed to haggle, you're not allowed to pretend, you're not allowed to lie, you can't even speak. Like, you literally just pick up the item and you take it to the counter. And then they can either choose to ring it through, ask you for ID. If they ask you for ID, then you just say, no, I haven't got any ID. And that's it. Like, that's your only line. That's your only line. You can't say no, you can't say please, you can't lie about your age and say I'm older than I actually am. You can't say please, please, please. You can't trick them, basically. They've just got, you just place it on the counter and they can either ring it through or not ring it through. So the next one I went on to, so that one was him. So after that, they just get issued a fine and they got to go to court, basically. And they got to explain why they're selling fucking alcohol to minors or whatever. And then fucking, yeah. And if they don't go to court, then their fine, their shop will just get shut. They don't close the actual shop, but licensing removes their license to sell alcohol and cigarettes, which is basically the majority of their fucking business, because no one goes to the shop to buy sweets anymore. They go for fucking fags and boots. So yeah. That was that. And then the next one we went on to was another shop, and they were wired up. I went in there, I picked up some vodka, and then I placed it on the counter, and he said, you got any ID? I was like, no. And I was like, no, sorry, I can't serve you. So I was like, okay. And then I walked out, and that was that. And then the police officer obviously is still behind me, but he obviously is paying for stuff, which is snacks for us that we eat in the van. We just pick them up on each way as we go around. So he's obviously paying for the stuff that he's buying and doesn't reveal that he's a police officer. He just carries on. So they don't even know. They obviously have their suspicions, but they don't reveal it or anything like that. And then obviously we just go on to the next location. However, the job is not over. The sting is not over. For me, it's over because obviously I don't have to go back there, but the police officers do a follow-up. I say police officers, but it's licensing. So licensing is like the council, like a government body, and the police. So there's a branch just dedicated to, like, just everything, as I say, everything to do that needs a license, whether it be trading, whether it be fags, cigarettes, alcohol, knockoff shit, everything, it all comes under licensing. So they then go back, and basically you've got a records book. So if you refuse someone, or you freeze someone's entry, we get this as security as well, but if you refuse someone, like, you've got to write it down, like a description and like best information that you can. So you've got to write it down and the time and what you refused them and what they was trying to buy. And then they will then come and follow up. So basically they then go the next day and follow up and say, last night you was a subject of a sting and you turned away someone that was underage. Can we see your records book, please? And basically they then got to produce a records book, and if they haven't typed in the incident that happened last night, then they can also get fined and in trouble for that, because then they're trying to cover it up. Because it may be that they had their suspicions and knew that they was going to be stung, but they've got their friends that they know who are underage and knows not going to grass them up. So then there's a records book, so they then follow up on that records book, and they can still get done and prosecuted and lose their license if they don't write it in that records book, because that's all part of the process. So it's got to be, it's like done, so they have to like cover their back, basically. And also they can catch you out as well, literally. So basically, I went on to the next one. I went on to like literally maybe 20 places, like literally. And you split it up throughout the night, like literally you split it up. And you maybe go over a period of like, I don't know, 2 weeks. Because obviously some people get tipped off, so you go scattered times, like you don't go all in one time. And then the next one we went to was fucking another shop, but it was like a Co-op, so it's like a major shop. And again, like, there was waiting around the corner, so I went in, and then put the thing on the counter, put the alcohol on the counter, and they served me. Like, they didn't ask for ID, like, he didn't ask me for ID. So that was another thing, like, that was a massive thing, because, like, I was applying co-op, mate, like a co-op. Like, so yeah, they got done, like, literally, they got done. Like, even, like, I done Tesco's, I done co-op, like, literally, the small ones, like, obviously, it's the obvious ones, but, like, Tesco, co-op, like, they don't give a fuck, mate. Like, literally, it's licensing. I told you they can just do anything, like, it's the police, like, they can go after anyone. Like, it's all about the trading, mate. Like, literally, it's all about the trading and the licensing. It's all about money as well, like the taxing. But ultimately, it's about the underage thing. The bit that I was tackling was the underage thing and selling underage stuff, like fireworks as well, which I'll move on to. So, the co-op, again, same thing comes in, the police officer steps in, and then, yeah, his till gets shut down, the manager comes in, and then he gets in trouble. And he's got a fine, and then the manager's got to basically fend for him, or they can hang him out to dry. Because it's down to the individual. So even if you're working for a supermarket, even if it's a corner shop or a big chain, like, it's down to the individual. Like, it's on the individual that gets into trouble for serving. It's not down to the shop. So yes, the shop could say, okay, we're going to take you under our wing and hire like a lawyer or whatever and get you off it, but it's very unlikely. It's just down to the individual. Like, it's very unlikely that they'll do that. They'll just throw you out to dry because you didn't follow the procedures and ask for ID. So yeah, like, that was that. So yeah, as I said, the manager comes in, and then, yeah, I walk out, and then they just deal with it. Like, literally, I always walk out. Like, I don't actually do anything. I just walk out. Like, it's the police officer that are dealing with it, because I'm just a plant. So yeah, the next one was explosives, the fireworks again. Like, and where this comes from, like, the reason why they just like picking up all these things, like how you get all these different jobs, is like people will directly call in. So they will may say, there's a shop down the road from me, and they're selling to kids this and this, or they may go to a call, and the officers may go to like a house party or something, and there's bare kids, and like over and over again, police kept getting called to the same area for like disturbances, and they're like, well, where do you get the booze from? So then there's things like that. So if there's a number of incidences that add up, it all gets recorded, and they'll be saying, well, why is there so much alcohol in kids in this area? And then they'll then target the shops in that area and say, what the fuck's going on? Where are the kids in your area getting all this booze from? Apparently it's coming from you. So that's how they get all these different jobs. So there's all these different calls that are coming in, and intelligence as well, whether it be through CCTV, whether it be through people walking on the street, like police officers doing surveillance, whatever it may be. Like, all the different intelligence forms come in, and then they work it together the case, and then they investigate the claims, and then they find enough evidence, and then once they got the evidence, what they want to know, or the suspicion, what they're going to go after, and what they're going to test, they then go in and put in the plant, and they test the water and see what happens. Basically, they just go fishing. So, but like I say, you can't trap the people. So if they say, if they ask you for ID and you haven't got any ID, you can't haggle with them, you can't blag it, you can't walk in, you can't try and sneak anything, you can't be sneaky, you can't appear to be older than you actually are, so you just wear normal clothes, like, you don't dress up, like, none of that, like, you can't do any of that. It's just simply placing it on the counter, and they either scan it, and as I say, or they don't. So the next job we went to was a premises that was selling fireworks. So I went in there, and obviously I bought some, what did I buy? I bought like a fucking rockets and like sparklers and shit. And again, like, they were supposed to ask for ID, but they didn't, and they sold it to me. So again, the police officer stepped in, and they got fucked for that. Like, literally, they got fucked for that. We were just fucking people all night, basically. And then there were a few people, like, that went in. Like, you go in, and you said, have you got ID? And there was a few people that we'd done already, and like, they'd been like busted, and then we try them again to see what would happen, and then obviously they're wise to it. And there were a few people, like, there was one guy that when we went into the corner shop, like, I done him, like, I went in there, I said, oh, excuse me, mate, I'm gonna buy this. No, I did speak. Sorry, I did speak. I just placed it up. I just placed it up. But no, because he said to me, no, you're alright, mate. You don't have any ID. And I was like, alright, okay. But I was laughing because he knew. And then the police officer was trying to keep a straight face. So I was like, okay. And then I walked out. And then when we was getting into the van, we was driving down the road. We drove past his shop. He was outside. He was like, "Hey!" Like he was waving at us, like he knew, like straight away, like he knew. So like yeah, he was like following the books basically. He was well proud. He was like hey. He was like dancing and everything. Like literally, they was all like cracking up. Like the sergeant was laughing in hysterics. Like he thought it was so funny. Like literally, it was a joke. It was a joke. But yeah, there was loads of them like that where we just retried, and then we got rejected, and it was good. Like literally, it just meant that we had loads of candy for the for the road. Like, literally, loads of candy for the road, and plenty of snacks to eat in the van. But no, yeah, it was chilled. Like it was chilled. Like it was a fun experience. But yeah, it was crazy because obviously it's like a covert thing, and there's just like bare people watching you. Like literally, there's so many police officers just watching you, and like they're just nobody knows. It's just like nobody even knows it. Like it's just like, oh mate, it's so mad. Like it's just too mad. Like it's kind of just mad. Like it's just all these covert things, mate. Like literally, this is why I get sketched out about things, mate. It's because I've experienced certain things. Like it's just like mad, and that's just a light tip. That's just licensing. It's just licensing, a light tip of the iceberg. It's nothing even deep. Like it's not even covert ops. Like it's just surveillance. It's just test purchasing. Like it's just a light covert operation. Like literally, it's just not heavy. It's just light, really light. It's nothing dark. I mean, it can go south. Like there has been times where it got a bit hectic, but then, as I say, the police are just there. Like they're just there, and nobody looks. They just spring into action, and you just walk away, and they just get bumped. Oh shit! It's funny. It's peak for them, but it's funny. Oh mate. And public disorder, mate. Literally, public disorders is another crazy thing. Where the police are trying to control a crowd. Like there was this one situation where there was a school and it just got out of control, mate. Literally, it got well out of control. Wait, hold on, I'm just gonna change the battery. But yeah, at school, and it was just so crazy, mate. Literally, because I've been to like demonstrations, police side and filming, where it's just mad, and like they're like throwing chairs and shit, and obviously the police are like dealing with it, but like it's just mad. Like it's just such a mad, like when you watch videos on YouTube, yeah, because I've got bare videos of demonstrations, but like when you watch it on YouTube, like it doesn't do justice unless you're actually there. Like it's just so mad. But yeah, there was one at a school which was completely different. I used to school because it was just a different vibe, because I've been to the heavy ones which everyone thinks of, but like the school one was like the last day of school, and like everyone has like a muck-up day basically, and like some schools have bigger muck-up days than others. Like literally this, I don't know if, well, this is a thing, like it was so hectic, but I don't know if anyone even remembers, like if it even had gone down in history by anything, like literally. But basically, like the school, like they'd changed like all the clocks, like they'd taken all the clocks and like put super glue and like all the doors, and like contaminated all the food and that, and, like put smoke bombs, and like, oh mate, it was bad. Like they'd like made, like the staff had like made like all food for them, and then they like just contaminated it, and like, oh mate, like literally, like people got trampled, like year 7s got trampled, like it was bad. Like literally, it was the worst muck-up day like ever, like literally. And the police got called, like a PSU unit, like literally a police support unit, like literally it's like a van with some officers, like literally, which is for a school like in England, like like unless you go to a rough school, but a van rocking up to your school for public disorder is just like, but yeah, anyway. So I was on an attachment at the time with them, and we'd done a training exercise, because I hadn't done any live, I'd done a few live things like ride-alongs, but I hadn't done any live exercises, live scenarios, because it was too dangerous, like way too dangerous. Like when I was abroad, like I got to do loads of stuff, but in England, like I couldn't really do much. Like I'd done a lot of stuff, but I didn't really, like there's a lot of red tape. So there's a lot of favours that was called in, like a lot of favours. Like I know a lot of people, so I got to do a lot of things. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do them, because there's a lot of red tape and safety and safety and safety and safety and safety and safety. It's dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. Anyway, but yeah, fortunately, I did get to do a lot of these things. But what was I saying? Yeah, mate, literally this muck-up day was just mad. So anyway, I was on this attachment with this PSU unit, and we had done a training exercise beforehand for the last couple of days actually, which is basically where you got Mocktown and like train station, trains, tubes, everything, and they just have like riots on it, chuck bricks at each other, throw Molotovs around and set things on fire, walk through it, and fucking there's like bean bags and shit that you run through that are weighted to simulate run through crowds and shit like that. So it's pretty sick. Anyway, there was like, oh, do you want to come to a school? There's stuff going on down there. There's like kids like messing about, because they didn't really know what to expect really, because obviously it had come through as like a riot, and there was like multiple people, like residents, that had called it in as a riot. And obviously the police don't like the term riot, because as soon as something is labelled a riot, laws may have changed, but I'm under the impression that as soon as something is labelled a riot, the police force or service, the chief constable of that force has to pay for the damage. So that police service has to pay for the damage in that area, in that county. So that's why they don't call things riot, because that riot implies also, by definition, riot implies loss of control. So they never want to admit loss of control, so they say public disturbance or public disorder or mass disorder, rather than there's a riot going on, because riot implies loss of control, and they don't want to admit that, because, as I say, money, mate. Like, literally, money. Someone's got to pay for it all. But, yeah, anyway, this school, they had this muck-up day, and like all the year 11s just was like, just fucking about, and like the year 10s as well were fucking about, because obviously it's the last day, but bearing in mind they've still got to come back to the school and face the punishment, like literally. So they're doing all of this with the year 11s, but then they got to come back. So some of the younger ones weren't getting involved, but some of them were, so they were all getting in trouble. And like basically the head boy and the head girl and who else? Like loads of like senior students all got arrested. Like they all got arrested. Like the head boy smashed a bin into a car windshield, and he got nicked for that straight away. Criminal damage, mate. Like literally. That was like as soon as we got there. Then there was a PSU unit coming down, but they was on a raid somewhere else. But they left the raid to come there. Like it got that bad. Like they was on a raid. And they packed up the raid, like they finished off what they was doing, and then they came down, like it got that bad. And then everyone was in the school, like as I said, they let off smoke bombs, and they contaminated all the food, like the buffet that the teachers had put on for them the last day. Pretty cunty really, but yeah, they just didn't give a fuck. They'd like thrown off all the food, like they broke some of the windows. So again, the police officers had to go in, like in a line, and obviously I was with them, like we all went in. And went round, obviously, to contain all these people and then go in. So we went in, and like it was just like completely trashed. Like there was kids that were like crying. Like the parents were like ringing into the school, because they like the kids were calling them on their phones saying like the school has gone mad, like, literally. Because you imagine year 7s like calling into their parents. They're just hearing all this shit going on in the background. And then so yeah, it was mad. Like literally, it was so mad. So I went in. And then we went round, and then eventually everyone got calm. Like we cleared everyone out of the school. The school was shut, like the school was closed. Like that was it. Everyone went home, like everyone, all years. And like the teachers were shaken up. Like everyone was shaken up. It was so funny. Like literally, the secondary school that went mad. Like literally, it was so funny. Like literally, oh my gosh. And for the area as well, it's just not common. It's just not common. So, like, yeah, anyway, the police, like, there was maybe 30 officers at this point in this school, clearing everyone out of the school, making sure everyone's alright. I think even an ambulance came to make sure some people were alright. Like, the school nurse was inundated with people, I don't feel well, like, literally. So everyone else is obviously going home. Parents are coming in. So eventually, all starting to quiet down, everyone's clearing out. But the school is absolutely trashed. Like, all the clocks are gone, all the food is everywhere, the windows are broken, and yeah, it's a mess. So they all move out to like a park, and there's like a really wide park with like gardens and like fountains and chairs and benches. So everyone congregates and they move the party down there. So the police just follow it. More people end up getting arrested, and then into the night it just simmers down and like becomes calm and like chilled, and everyone's chatting and like just like, yeah, it's just mad. And then it just ends up just turning into the police officers just going around just confiscating everyone's drinks and pouring them away and just telling them to go because they was just getting too drunk. It was just getting too much. Like they already arrested so many people, and it just got to the point and they just had enough. They was like, nah, we just got to knock this on the head now. And they was just like taking everyone's drink in bin bags. Like literally they was just, and everyone was like, what, you can't do that. And they just wasn't having any of it. Like literally they just wasn't having any of it. They were just taking it all. Like literally full on searches and just taking it all. Like literally any single alcohol property, even open container, mate, it was gone. Like literally it was like, nah, gone. And they was all drunk anyway, so they wouldn't have remembered. But they had already trashed the school, so as far as they're concerned, it was a fucking success for them. But from a policing point of view, it was mental. It was so weird. But it's just the way the call came through, like multiple 999 calls coming in as a riot in the school. It's just like, oh my god, what is going on? But that's the thing. Sometimes the call will come in one way, and then when you get on scene, it's a completely different situation. It's not as bad, or it may be as bad as they say. Good times, mate. Good times. But like I say, that's crazy. That was crazy. Actually, that was a crazy experience. But the best feelings and the crazy experience is the fire truck, mate. Literally. And even when I was little, I remember being at nursery. I remember this till this day. I was at nursery. I was at Waterways in Thamesmead, and fucking the fire truck came. Literally, and they showed us around the fire engine. Literally, and fucking, oh mate, I shouldn't say this, but like fucking, I worked myself. Like literally, I worked myself. Like literally, they turned on the siren. It made me jump, so I pissed myself. Like literally, and like I started crying. Like, cause I got well scared because I thought I was gonna get into trouble because I had weed on the fire engine seat. And they was like, oh no, it's fine. They was like, well chilled about it. They was like trying to comfort me, but I was little, so I didn't really know anything. So I was just like, oh my god, I was just like, it was the end of the world for me. I was so excited. Like literally, I was so excited. But I always remember that moment. I literally always remember that moment. But yeah, I thought I was going to get in so much trouble. But yeah, it's chilled. flying over London at night. That's pretty crazy. I literally coming in off a plane, and it's the middle of the night, and then London is just lit up. That's pretty bad. Literally, it's not something you'd really think of, but it's pretty crazy, like the view, thinking back. But yeah. Also, it's not really crazy, but working on a farm and like driving tractors, it was an experience. Like when I think about it, like at the time it was well long, like it was so long, like being up early and like being on the farm and like fucking being half asleep and then just walking into the cow shed and just being hit by the smell of cow, or going into the pig den and just like just cleaning out the pigs, just like like it was an experience. But it's just like, and like another thing about craziness here, like with farming, like it's just amount of longness, like literally it's just amount of longness, like trekking across fields and shit. Like I didn't have quad bikes and shit, literally. I had a tractor every now and again, that was a treat. But most of the jobs was just done by, because I was kind of learning, I was doing like an MVQ. So I was kind of learning, I was a rookie. It wasn't sort of like a business. But yeah, it was just like feeding animals, like sheep in the middle of a field. And it's just like going into the middle of a field, like the field might be like 2 miles worth of field. And you're just in the middle of it. And there's no one about. And it's just you walking with 2 fucking buckets just with food. Just so random, like literally. And then you're just walking back and then just being knocked over by sheep. Like literally just loads of sheep. Like it's kind of weird, like it's kind of weird to think and explain, like this is the thing, like it's kind of weird to explain. Like I always find explaining my memories kind of difficult because like I don't record a lot. Like I made like home movies, but I didn't vlog, like, and vlogging wasn't a thing. Like I used to take selfies. Like I'll get back to that. Actually, I'll write that down. I'll get back to that. But yeah, like looking back on my memories, like I don't really remember much. Because like nowadays, like people can remember stuff, and then they've got a video as well. But I don't have any videos because I didn't record. Like recording wasn't a thing. Like recording wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing. Even though I did record, but everyone just thought I was weird for making home movies because it just wasn't a thing. Like I was the old YouTube, like the home movies, like just a weird random guy that's just making videos that's not in the media, like he just makes videos, like because it wasn't a thing. It's not a thing. It wasn't a thing to make videos. Like nowadays, kids grow up thinking they can just record their life and it's fine. No one judges them. They're just out in the street recording. But old YouTube was like really weird. It was like, this is really weird, and like everyone was really awkward as well. Like it was just really weird and really awkward, but it was still cool. Like it was still good. That's what made it entertaining. But like now, it's just everything's just all like natural and scripted and free flowing because everyone's used to just having a camera in front of their face. But yeah, but memories, mate. Like farming again, like from a crazy experience, like going to the incinerator, mate. So when your animal dies, like you can't just bury it in the ground. Like in England, you can't. Like there's strict like agricultural farming laws, and DEFRA, Department of Environment, Farming and Agriculture, and they like govern everything farming basically. Your animals and your cattle have to have like passports and shit. Like animals have to have passports, and if you're moving cattle, you've got to have passports for each like sheep or cow or anything that you're moving. If you're doing it above board, and like yeah, so going to the incinerator when something dies like on the land, like you can't just bury it or leave it to be eaten. Like you've got to pick it up, take it to the trailer, and then you take it to the incinerator. However, like literally, going to an incinerator, mate, is an experience. Like literally, just the amount of dead animals. Like literally, just the smell creeping in through the seams, the gaps of the vehicle. You open the door and it just hits you, just rotting flesh, like rotten meat. It's just, oh my god, like literally just dead cows, dead horses, dead sheep, just dead foxes, dead everything, just everything dead, every farmyard animal dead, just dead pig, just dead everything. Like something just dies, like of natural causes, or it just gets hurt and then dies. Like you can't just sell it anyway, like because like it's not part of the procedure. Like everything has to be naturally gone through a process. Like everything is processed. Like unless you've got organic and everything, again there's a process. Like you can't just have a random. It's not like wild, especially if you're doing it for commercial use and going into a supermarket and selling it. Like everything has to be done properly. Like to avoid like humans getting poisoned by animals that have got contracted from something, from when they got injured and then they got a disease. So like everything is incinerated, so everything is there, and it's just like, oh mate, everything's just rotten. And then they use like forklifts, like JCB forklifts, to pick up all the animals, and then they put them into the incinerator, mate. And then, oh, mate, basically there's like loads of safety measures because all of these animals that are dead, yeah, they're all bloated and they're all building up gas, all the methane gas, yeah. So number one, the site is extremely flammable because there's just fucking bare farts everywhere, yeah. And then number two, fucking when they fucking put the fucking basically they put it up the arse, so they fucking insert the fucking like a JCB spike up the fucking cow's arse or the horse's arse or whatever it is they're lifting, and then they lift it up. Sometimes it's fucking rotting, so it all just falls apart, like all just like rots off, like oh mate, it's grim. So they fucking stick it up, but when they stick it in, yeah, like the cows explode. Like if they haven't like farted and if the wind is not all out, then they'll explode. So exploding cows is another thing that's just like another thing to deal with, but that you've got to be careful of because they just go pop, like literally in it. Oh mate, but yeah, it's just weird. Like literally, it's just weird, and I just never thought about it. I just never knew about it, and it's literally, and it was just so close as well. Like literally, the drive from where the farm was, and just like it wasn't that far. It was like 40-minute drive, and it's just like, oh my god, like I never knew this was here, and it's just there, and it's just like, oh my god, there's just so many fucked up things, mate. Like literally. Like yeah, it's for like everything, but it's just a system that we have for humans. It's just like nature works, and nature has its own way of dealing with things, and then humans interfere and say, oh no, we can't do this and we can't have that, and this has got to be done that way. And I understand why, but because nature is done by survival of the fittest. So a lot of humans would die if we had to survive by our own, because we're not designed, and only the strong would survive. But whereas we have medicines and doctors and procedures to avoid us getting sick all the time, like the weak stay strong and they just stay alive by medicines and doctors and rules and regulations, basically. So just, yeah, you've just got loads of weak people, but it's just like the animals and just like suffer. And I don't know, I just feel like we do so much damage more sometimes. It just seems a bit wrong. But yeah, I do understand why they do it, because it's not good if you've got animals that are contaminated and it goes into a supermarket. That's not good. So I do understand it, but I do think nature has its own way of balancing things out. But yeah, anyway, farming just makes you think of that sort of stuff, like the nature and the land. And it is nice though that everything's fresh, but I did feel kind of guilty, because obviously you get a relationship with the animals and then they go to slaughter and it's just like, oh mate, that's so bad. And then they go back and then they come back from the abattoir in boxes as sausages, and it's like, oh mate, like we was just chatting this morning. I literally so peak. But yeah, there was a lot of farming done. And like carrying sacks, mate. I literally carrying bare sacks. I literally. And just food and just, yeah. And it was all early morning as well. Everything is done in the morning. Like, yeah, you do things in the day, but it's just so hot as well. It's just like, if it's hot, if it's the winter, then it's not too bad. That's even worse. Everything's fucking frozen. So it's just like, oh my god. And then trying to get a cow to move, mate. If you got a fucking massive cow and you got him on a rope, or her on a rope even, and you're going for milking, and it's just like, she ain't gonna fucking budge, mate. She ain't gonna fucking budge. And then you gotta try and fucking, come on, use your fucking cow whispering techniques to try and fucking get this cow to move. Your hands are fucking numb as fuck, and it's like, oh my god. You got steel toe plate boots on, so fucking the steel in your boots is so cold, so you can almost feel it through your socks. But luckily you got thermal socks on, which are kind of doing shit all because it's so cold. And yeah, eventually this cow starts moving. And you're just like, you're like, please don't kick me, please don't kick me, please don't tread on my feet, please don't tread on my feet. And yeah, but you do get used to it. But looking back, it's just like an experience, as I say. Driving tractors is cool. That's my second choice. First choice, fire engine. Second choice, tractor. Third choice, Range Rover. Yeah, Range Rover. But like actually I'd say like a Land Rover, old Range Rover, Land Rover / old Range Rover, and then Vauxhall Astra. Yeah. That's what I'd say. That's my choice. But it was a sick experience. First learning how to drive a tractor. Hitching up the trailer, driving with a trailer, mate. I literally. Probably be a little rusty. I ain't driven a tractor in a while, to be fair. But yeah. I'm hoping to edit this video in some way. I'm not sure how. But yeah. I hope you're on good vibes, mate. I hope you're staying blessed. Life is treating you well. I'm on good vibes. Feeling a bit chilly. But yeah. Anyway. I'm gonna leave it there. Save for your positive feedback. Also, I am looking to be flexible. So, yeah. If you're liking how it is, then just going with the flow, then whatever. But yeah, I like your feedback. If you have any questions, then send them in. And yeah, I like answering questions. Yeah. I literally. But yeah, I'm not really saying much, so yeah, I'm just thinking. Not about anything. Just thinking. I'm thinking about the possibilities of life. But yeah, it's all good. But I'm going to remember this moment, which is why I like to film the long moments, because when things are exciting, shall we say, then yeah, you'll remember this moment. But obviously when you're in the moment, it's kind of just long. So yeah. Anyway. Stay blessed, stay lean, and peace.